Well, folks, we start the season with a loss. It's your boy Run It Up Rule back with another episode for Real Sports Talk. And wish we were starting this live off on a happier note, but we're not. Unfortunately, we were not able to get it done. We were not able to get things done. But it's a long season, and we have some things that we can work on. We have some things to clean up. We have some things to be positive about, in my opinion. I wanted to go live and just get the overall thoughts and opinions from the nation. See how you guys feeling. It's a tough loss. I kind of thought we was gonna pull that out. I really thought we were gonna pull that out, man. uh it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds before I get going, just to see if anybody pops into the live, so I can acknowledge them. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and get my spill off, how I feel about the game, my overall takes. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. CD, I'm wearing the jersey too. Lamb, 4 drops tonight. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. All right. Well, nobody's hopped into the live yet. That's okay. This we still building over here. No problem. But so all right. My overall opinion on this game. We'll get to the stats and everything in a minute. My overall opinion of this game was we were in it. We were in it. I felt like even though we were tied or once we had to kick the field goal, I knew at that point once we made it 17-14, I knew we were going to be in for a rough evening, just simply because neither defenses were really stopping each other. We the first 7 drives, we go 7 for 7, just with toe to toe with the Eagles, and I thought that field goal was, I'm glad that we scored, of course, but I thought there were a couple of things on that drive that we could have did differently. I thought we could have, moved the ball a little bit more methodically down the field. I would have chose a couple of different play calls on that drive. But however, we went 7 for 7, and we were still very much in that game at that point, leading the game 17-14. And then, Philly came on, and we just were not able to stop Jalen Hurts. And the Philly didn't do anything special, right? They didn't do anything special. What they did is, what they've always done, which is disguise the run. They were efficient at it. They kept chipping away at it, and when they when they had to pass the ball, it was kind of the same formation as they were running the ball on us with, and a tight end breaks loose, and it's only Jalen didn't have to throw down the field. I mean, all his averages, I don't know his averages yet, but they weren't long passes. He didn't beat us down the field in no way, shape, or form did he do that. I mean, Jahan Dotson did get behind Elam one time, and I think that was a 20-plus yarder. But overall in the game, it was dink and dunk. But they were moving the ball, running the ball very efficiently. I mean, they were just living in short and very, very manageable. And there's just no way to stop the Eagles while you're doing that. There's just no way to stop the Eagles living in short downs, short in distances. And second down, I mean, first down, we're giving up 6+ yards. We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop the Eagles doing that. So, I like Clark. I seen some things from Clark where I was like, okay, I can see his presence in the middle, and I've been on record stating that this defense here is going to take some time to get going. I think we lost this game. We most definitely lost this game offensively. But I feel like the defense for the first or the last three out of the four drives, we held our own. They didn't move the ball like that. We forced punts, so I can't really get down on the defense. Just after that 69-minute rain delay, I was thinking that we were going to have the upper hand, especially coming off of that fumble. We're going to talk about it. I thought that the rain delay kind of took the momentum Philly was running with at that moment away, and it made it it evened the playing field out for both teams. And I kind of feel like Shotty he got really reserved. His play calling in the first half didn't really match up to his play calling in the second half, in my opinion. But yeah, we're gonna get into the stats here. I'm gonna pull it up. But I do want to say, Sanders, you can't fumble the ball like that. That's really what cost us the game. Is losing the turnover battle right there. And I was praying all game that we'd get a stop, but we were not able to stop we were not able to turn the ball over. Most importantly, we were definitely missing some pass rush. We see I'm gonna pull up these stats here because individually on defense, nobody stood out, but at the same time, there were some things that you could take away, and we're going to talk about it. First of all, I just want to say I appreciate anybody that's popping in and even just clicking onto the stream. I don't have a lot of followers, and I'm not expecting a lot of people to come onto the live tonight. But however, I'm most appreciative to anybody that does. This is a growing channel. I'm just on here to talk my Cowboys, something that I love, and instead of just screaming at the TV screen, I could sit here and talk to you guys or talk to myself. It doesn't even matter, but I got to get it off my chest. This was a much anticipated game. And I really thought we had a chance all the way pretty much into the end of the third quarter that I think we were going to be able to pull this game out. Dak had two drives where I felt like if we were able to get some things going, we could have took the lead. And ultimately, let's see what our defense could have done. But that wasn't the case. We shooting ourselves in the foot. Let me pull the stats up here. We're going to talk about it. Once again, I appreciate anybody. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me pull that up. Right. So I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it. I could just change the view here since I'm just talking about the stats. Just make sure y'all able to see. All right, yeah. So we lose the game 24-20. Dak goes 21 for 21 out of 34 for 188 yards, averaging 5.5 yards a throw. Ends the game. No sacks. So that was good to see, even though he was running for his life a couple of plays. That's good to know that. And he broke out of a couple tackles on one play specifically. He broke like 2 tackles and was able to get the ball out, I think, for a short completion down the field, which was for a first down, I do believe. Russian Javonte Williams, he had a great game. I feel like we utilized him. Javonte, to me, looked like he would be a great backup running back. I'm not really sure I'm feeling the starting caliber role out of him, but he was able to see some holes and get some holes, and actually he finished some runs really nicely. 15 carries, 54 yards, average 3.6. Ended the game with 2 touchdowns. Longest run was for 11 yards. A very physical runner, and I appreciated what he's able to bring to the game. I just need a home run threat. Miles Sanders, he hit a 49-yarder. That was very impressive. What wasn't impressive was being chased down by a linebacker. Although he's very athletic over there, I think his last name's Bond for the Philadelphia Eagles. Although he's very athletic, being chased down by a linebacker, that's supposed to be 6. That I don't have to say much about that. That's supposed to be 6, without a doubt. But he got the 49 yards, and I was hyped. I was ready to go. I thought for sure we were going to score. 6 plays later, my man turns the ball over. 6 plays later, my man turns the ball over. Now, with that being said, there was I believe, a penalty that set us back. Maybe 2 plays later after the run. And yeah, so there were some things that caused that drive to stall, but ultimately he's the one who killed it with the fumble. You can't do that. You can't do that. I started questioning him instantly, like, yo, you working for them? Because you remember he's a former Philadelphia Eagle. So I was upset. I was very, very upset because I knew this game was so critical for us. And we had to win the turnover battle. If not, if anything less, we could not lose the turnover battle. We needed to either, have no turnovers in the game on both sides, or we needed to be up. And for him to turn the ball over, which was a basic tackle, it was nothing crazy. He didn't get blindsided. Nobody went in there and trying to punch the ball out. Peanut Tillman punched the ball out. There was none of that. So, yeah, it was just a fumble. It was just a bad fumble. I'm not even sure he got back in the game. No, he didn't. I don't believe he got back in the game. So, he needs to figure some things out for sure. KaVontae Turpin, I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of KaVontae Turpin. He had 2 carries for 9 yards. Longest was for 5 yards. Yeah, I want to see more because I know he's explosive. Dak carried the ball one time for 3 yards. Nothing to write home about. CeeDee Lamb, let's get to it. Right? Because I don't want this to be a long stream. CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions, no touchdown, long 32 yards. He's targeted 13 times. Let me see. They're not showing me the drops on there. But he had 4 drops in this game. 2 of them were in very, very critical timing. The first drop, I'm like, okay, I said to myself, that's going to be hard. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Let me just say this before, and I meant to say this before I even pulled the stats up. Dallas wants to be a physical run team, right? Dallas wants to be a physical run team. And I understand that, and I appreciated the way we attacked the run in the first half. I really did. I thought it was very positive. I thought it helped Dak tremendously because we were living in short distances too. Short downage yards. So, but what I also knew was that I had 2 guys at wide receiver. And the defensive backs, Dak was picking on who was the defensive back for Philly. He went to the bench. They pulled him. But the point is, where I don't want to jump the gun because he's next. But CD cooked in the first half. He had 100 yards before the rain delay. he had 100 yards. So after that, he had 10 yards is what he gave us. He cooked in the first half, but I remember seeing he had 100 of those 110 yards in the first half. The defensive backs for Philly you were able to cook, and we didn't. George Pickens, only 4 targets, only 3 receptions for 30 yards, 10 yards a catch, right? Why weren't we targeting George Pickens more? I mean, I was talking on the Law Nations podcast in the comment section, like, yo, he's not even looking at George Pickens. Like, he's really turning his head from the man. And I don't understand. I don't understand how we bring this guy in. He's supposed to be our big time free agent acquisition. We know how he get busy. And the defensive, let me reiterate, right? The defensive backs for Philly were food, trash, dumpster juice. They could have ate all night. And Dak, and I felt like the play calling was just too reserved. Pickens was able to do what he wanted. He was winning a lot of the battles. He wasn't even being targeted or looked at. That is the problem I'm having here. It was like every play, CeeDee Lamb. I'm like, yo, like, let's mix it the fuck up, or at least hit Pickens or Turpin, or, you know, for a big one down the field. Like, let's get these defensive backs in Philly in the game. Let's stop leaving it to the trenches. Let's move the pocket. That's what you need to do playing Philly. You can't have short downs for Philly. You can't be 3rd and 1. You know the tush push coming. You can't allow 6+ yards on first down. They're gonna live on the run. There's no stopping it. They have a offensive line that's the best in the league. You can't do that. And so once again, Philly didn't do anything crazy. Dallas was too humble in this game, in my opinion. Shoddy, he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a great game either. Shoddy did not have a great game. If it came down, if we're not going to blame Dak for taking the shots or looking at or Pickens, then I must equate that to the play calling was designed to get CeeDee Lamb going. Okay, but I do not agree with that formula. Okay, because once again, let's move on, because we got Jake Ferguson. Distinctly, everybody knows that Dak underthrew Jake twice, missed him twice. Maybe if we got some work in the preseason, we would have got some real live action with these guys. He wouldn't be pulling up short on the passes to Jake Ferguson over the linebacker. I mean, it happened twice down the damn seam. Twice he underthrew the ball. Jake Ferguson was able to get 5, and Jake had to fight for each one. And none of Jake's catches tonight was clean. He had 5 catches, targeted 6 times. 23 yards, average 4.6, longest 5 yards. Everything was. We did not attack Philly's defense the way I thought we were going to, because I thought we weren't going to be able to move the ball running the way I thought we were going to, and I thought Dak was going to have to take the game over way earlier than he did. I thought the first half couldn't have played out any better for Dallas. Right, we understand we're coming in shorthanded. We just lost our guy, just traded away our best player on defense. We know that the defense is young. There's a lot of guys stepping in, okay, but what we have some veteran leadership at for sure, and who's been here and some nuance, has been the offense. So I was expecting the offense to come out with a lot more fire, showing this firepower that we have. Maybe some more misdirections with KaVontae Turpin. He had 2 receptions, targeted twice, 18 yards is how many yards he had. 16 was his longest. You know, so that means obviously one other catch just went for 2 yards. So once again, not really utilizing the talent there, are we? Right? Not really utilizing. Javonte had 2 catches, 10 yards, average 5, so 5 per play, you know, longest. Jalen Tolbert, 1 reception, targeted twice, no yards. You know what I'm saying? What can we do? Miles Sanders get the ball 1 time, -3 yards. We're not utilizing our talent here. That is my biggest takeaway. We need more from these guys. We need more. And sometimes less can be more. So if you're telling me we're going to be a physical run team, cool. I'm cool with that. We could be a physical run team. But what we also need to do is when we decide to pass, we need to make sure we're calling our best plays, right? So we getting some either some yak or we eating up a huge chunk of yards on that pass play. We did not utilize our weapons to the best of our ability tonight. We force fed CeeDee Lamb, and when it came down to it, he couldn't deliver. I thought we didn't have a number 2 wide receiver. I thought we had a 1A and 1B situation. What the happened? Who do I blame in this situation? Who do I blame in this situation? I mean, targeted 13 times CeeDee Lamb was. He caught it 7. Targeted 4 times was Pickens. He caught it 3. And I tell you what, I can almost say that those 3 receptions from Pickens were almost as important as all 7 of CeeDee Lamb's receptions because of the timing. George had a huge pickup on 3rd down, and it wasn't a 3rd and manageable. It was had to get out there, get this defensive back to bite on the, you know what I'm saying? Handle your business. We didn't do enough. We did not do enough. And this is the problem when you don't play in the preseason. When you don't have the time to really to the offensive line. My God, our tackles had a very, very long day. Dak was not sitting comfortable in that pocket at all. At all. So, I mean, what do we do? The defense, bend don't break. It damn near broke. I think holding the Philadelphia Eagles to 24 points, of course, excuse me, long day. Of course, we would have wanted to, at least the score be 27-24 on Dallas Cowboys' favor. But nevertheless, I feel like the 24 points, Philly had to really, fight for that every point. And shouts out to the guys for being able to do that, I guess. It's still fuck Philly, but, shouts out to them guys. Let's look at this defense real quick. Once again, nobody really stood out. Nobody really stood out as far as, like, making super impactful plays. I mean, the only one that I can really think of before I get to everybody's stats was James Houston with that, TFL, which tackle for loss. But other than that, nobody really jumped off the page. All in my opinion, all these tackles and solo tackles or joint tackles were coming way too far past the fucking line of scrimmage for me to even care about. Right? Yeah, it's a tackle. Well, thank God somebody got his ass to the fucking ground because he was literally doing whatever he wanted. Malik Hooker, total tackles, 4 solo. Once again, not jumping off the page. Kenneth Murray, I seen him come down a couple times, but I also nothing standing off the page. He had 9 total tackles, 4 solo. Kaiir Elam, he had one play that was I'm trying to remember what happened, but I know he blew it, or maybe it was coming in for a tackle that it was. I just know we need to see more. We need to see more. Damone Clark, 6 total, 3 solo. Jack Sanborn, he had 1 tackle for loss. Solomon Thomas had a tackle for loss. Sam Williams had a tackle for loss. Sam Williams at the end of the game getting that little penalty or whatever, just like I'm not sure if it's frustration or what it or jealousy because yo, I needed more. We needed more. We needed one of these edges to say, "Hey, I'm here and I'm going to hold it or write the shit." Ooh. Y'all got to forgive me for that one. So somebody needs to step up. Somebody on this defense needs to step up. Our rush contain was poor, piss poor. Containing the edges was just piss poor tonight. We weren't maintaining our gap presence at all. We were just not really too sure of ourselves. I feel like on the defensive line. Once again, Kenny Clark, he had some good stops. I seen him shed the block a couple times. Seen him split some defenders. So I've seen some promising things from Kenny Clark. And is he Micah Parsons? No, the hell he's not. Right? No, he's not. And I don't think anybody's expecting him to be the kind of caliber of player as Micah Parsons was. I seen him kind of own that middle of that defense on that line, and I appreciate him for that because we haven't had anybody really look as though they can at least do the damn job in quite a long time. So I think this defense will get primed up as more as time goes, as more as games they get under their belt. Once they start figuring out how and what ways are they looking to attack the ball, to turnovers and all that stuff. I'm expecting it to take a couple weeks to fully get going. But with that being said, I need somebody to start jumping off the page. I can't wait for Overshawn to get back. But we can't be waiting on somebody that's injured to create, electricity through this defense. It's game one. They should have been running around with their hair on fires, respectfully and getting the job done. I'm sitting here looking at these stats and just seeing a whole group of guys, possibly friends and buzz, but I'm not really seeing a team of accountability. And actions speak louder than words. So, yeah. So losing the turnover battle is ultimately what killed us, in my opinion. Without that fumble, we at least get 3 points and we get back out there on the field and play defense. But that wasn't the case. Shout out to Dak for even making that stop on that running back loss because, without that stop, man, it probably would have been worse than the way it looked. So shouts out to Dak for that. Happy birthday to his mother as well. I seen on a post he had it written on his wristband. So shouts out to her. May she be resting peacefully. But yeah, ultimately we need to see more. We need to see more Brandon Aubrey doing what he do, going 2 for 2. His long 53. Shouts out to him for that, holding it down. But man, yeah. So I'm just saying here, like, yo, nobody jumped off the page. Offensively, we didn't do everything that I felt like we could do. There's a lot more we can improve on. And be quite honest, I've seen some moments where I felt like, this was Dak's time to shine, showing what this veteran shit looking like. So I'm not sure who to quite blame for these stalled drives, or is it the play calling or is it the execution? I'm still trying to figure that out, but it is on to the Giants week next week. I want to shout us out to everybody who click on the live. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Run It Up Rue, and it's been my pleasure. Y'all have a good night. We out.